Hi, I'm Dr. Rudy Cashman. Thanks for watching our show. I think we're going to have a lot of fun today and give you a lot of information. I'm a wellness doctor. For 45 years I did neurosurgery, but I noticed, frankly, that 75% of the patients I was seeing, even as a neurosurgeon, frankly, could get well just by them participating in the health care and us to teach them about wellness. Yeah, it's a huge number. It's a huge number. And today we're going to speak about the autoimmune solution, and I explained to you what that means. Incidentally, I participated in the Civil Rights March the other day across the beautiful Martin Luther King Bridge in Fort Wayne, and the mayor greeted me by calling me Dr. Wellness. That's the 5th time he's done that, and I highly appreciate that because he recognizes what I'm doing. So what is autoimmune disease? That's where your immunity attacks your own body. Autoimmunity and creates serious illnesses. And now I'll tell you what some of them are. And many of them are undiagnosed because they are complex, they are multiple symptoms, and they can be prevented, avoided, improved. And that's what I'm going to try to teach you today. I'm going to teach you today to get to the root of the problem. In other words, if you have these illnesses, to maybe try a month or two, at least a month, 2 or 3, to see if you can rid of it by proper lifestyle, what you're eating and whether you're exercising and taking some supplements. And then if you need to, take the medications or whatever else they want. But you ought to give this a chance. Even if you have the illnesses now, give it a shot. Because many times this may frankly stop them, might even cure you of the condition. And so I want to get to the root and cause of it, which is today's medicine. Personally, I think it's largely ignored. I'm sad to say. This is largely ignored. And I'd like you to read a book too if you have a serious problem with this. I got a lot of the information out of there. It's called The Autoimmune Solution by Amy Myers. Very good book. I think it's a very good book. There are many other books that I've read, but I think this pretty much hits it because you'll need more than just this 1-hour show, maybe. What's interesting is, which many of us don't know, that our lymphatic system, which is frankly our Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force that defends us, that about 80% of it is located in our gut. Yeah, not just in our thymus or our spleen, our organs, with lymphatic tissues in them, or our lymph nodes, or our 600,000 miles of capillaries in our body with the lymphatic system, which in essence is the garbage collector and clears our body of toxins. But it doesn't have it doesn't have a heart or something to pump it along. It moves very slowly. You can massage your body, have a lymphatic massage, and that can speed up the clearing of your lymphatic system and can be effective. It can be effective if you have infections or cancer. I remember I've had some colds on occasion. Instead of taking a pill, I went and had a body massage. It seemed to, my cold was gone by the next day. I didn't say sometimes you need an antibiotic, but that was kind of interesting. 25% of our autoimmune diseases are genetic. You heard about 3 different genes, and you're more likely to get them. Like lupus, for example, it can run in families, but that's only 25%. So the other 75% are modifiable. Okay? If you have one autoimmune disease, for example, we'll go through this. For example, rheumatoid arthritis, or MS, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, which have a certain percentage autoimmunity to them, eczema, acne, for example, asthma. If you have one of those, you're about 3 times as likely to have others. So we'll discuss that in more detail. So that's kind of interesting. But what are some symptoms of some autoimmune diseases? Remember, this is where your own Army, Navy, and Air Force, your own lymphatic system is attacking your body through antigens, which react to antibodies in your blood system. Acne, acid reflux, allergies, Alzheimer's disease, anxiety, arthritis, asthma, blood clots, depression, digestive issues, dry eyes, eczema, fatigue, fibromyalgia, gallstones, hair loss, infertility, joint pains, obesity, pancreatitis, sleep problems. These can be symptoms of an autoimmune disease. I didn't say that they were, but they can be, okay? Give you some idea, you know, what we're speaking about here. And so about 40 to 50 million people have some aspect of an autoimmune disease. It's really around a lot, and a lot of times it's not screened properly. It takes a long history. Your doctor must know your history. It can be interviewed 30, 60 minutes to really learn, even from birth, what occurred, because some of these start even at birth. Remember, 25% are genetic. Let me give some other example: arthritis, asthma, vascular disease, MS, skin diseases, eczema, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, ileitis, lupus, autism, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, Graves' disease. They all can be because your body attacked those organs and caused these illnesses. Conventional medicine has failed. Certainly it's helped some, but the conventional medicine has so many side effects that the side effects can be worse than the illness. That's why it's worth trying sometimes a month, 2 or 3 of what I will recommend without medication. Don't stop your medicines, though, or reduce your medications unless it's cleared by your physician. That's very important. I didn't say to stop your medications, but many of these illnesses are misdiagnosed. Many of them can be prevented, and this is where holistic or functional medicine comes in and can prevent these through proper lifestyle, reducing the toxins, eating the right food, exercising. We'll go through that more. What we have today, frankly, are organ doctors. I got a heart doctor, I got a kidney doctor, I got a liver doctor, I got a skin doctor, but we don't see many physicians that put it all together. That's where something called functional medicine came in. Matter of fact, tomorrow I'm leaving for a world a cruise lasts for a week with the world's most famous people on them: Colin Campbell, Bernard, Esseltine, all these people that know a great deal about how to get the patient well through wellness teaching, nutrition, environment, getting toxins out of your body, occasionally some supplements. They don't generally push them a lot, but there are some that are helpful. So what we're trying to do is prevent, stop, or reverse these illnesses. Generally can be done in 30, 60 days. Type 2 diabetes through proper nutritional eating, yes, which is you can get rid of probably in 60 days. Yeah, look at cashmanhealth.com. Look at the PowerPoint I have on that. I have 70 talks there on YouTube, Cashman Health Resources, fat, salt, sugar, marijuana. I have all 70 shows on there on health, free, cashmanhealth.com. 17 books on Amazon that I have, all about health. But you must participate in your health care to get well. We can't just pill to the ill and you don't participate or you don't study. We lack knowledge. Even says it in the Bible. Hosea 6:4 says we lack knowledge. We lack knowledge, including myself. So I'm constantly reading, passing information along. That's why I have these TV shows here to inform you. And listen to all the lectures. So I'm on every week. The first thing that we will try to teach you is to heal your gut. A lot of these illnesses are due to milk and gluten. That's two of the top offenders. And what these do is punch holes in your gut and allow foods that are not properly digested or foods that I don't recommend go through the holes in your gut, and your blood reacts to it. It's a immunity reaction, and diseases occur. They can be inflammatory, purely inflammatory, but then as you have more and more of these, the body gets confused as to what's coming through these holes in the gut, and then starts attacking its own body. Yeah, that's autoimmunity. So We'll teach you how to get rid of the gluten and the grains and dairy. And sometimes it even has to be beans, because the lectins in beans are causing a reaction. Your body's reacting to them. So we'll study this further. A common one, too, is that you develop infections in your gut. A real infection, the viruses and bacteria, not just autoimmune reactions. And we need to give you probiotics, for example, to you have many billions of bacteria in your gut that make you healthy. But you can, if you're taking a lot of antibiotics, for example, eating the wrong foods, start growing bacteria your body's not used to, and these bacteria cause diseases, MS, ALS, dementia, eczema, irritable bowel, Crohn's disease. So this very, very complex. In this country, speaking about some of these autoimmune diseases, Graves' disease, thyroid disease of overactive thyroid, 10 million people. And they treat it a lot of times. One of the choices is radiation. And some of the patients have complications from that. They develop cancer of the thyroid. I know somebody that happened to. Psoriasis, 7.5 million. Fibromyalgia, 5 million. Lupus, 3.5 million. Celiac disease, 3 million. That's a disease of the small intestine. Can be very serious. Hashimoto's thyroiditis, where it kills, autoimmune reaction kills the thyroid. Makes you hypothyroid, you gain weight, you lose energy. 3 million. Rheumatoid arthritis, very serious disease, 1.3 million. Chronic fatigue, which a lot of people have, can be an autoimmune disease. Ulcerative colitis, MS, scleroderma, diabetes type 1. Yes, type 1 diabetes in children can be autoimmune disease, can be inherited. It can be about what the mother gave the child at birth. It can be, for example, cow's milk instead of mother's milk can cause type 1 diabetes, where your pancreas dies and now you need to take insulin the rest of your life. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah. Read a book called Whitewash by Keon. Keon. Read that. I doubt you'll give your child milk after reading that. I've read it, God, half a dozen times. I mean, it's frankly scary. I use almond milk, for example, now. Very little of it, for that matter. The symptoms we can have from autoimmune diseases can involve the head, the eyes, the mind, the nose, dementia, depression, weight gains, heart problems, lung problems, skin rashes, loss of energy, joint pains, all symptoms of autoimmune disease. We have an epidemic of it in this nation. Probably 50 million people got it. It's the third leading cause of chronic, meaning long-term disease in this nation. Yeah. 90 million people that are overweight, obese, 80 million cerebral vascular disease, 50 million with allergies, asthma, 25 million, eczema, 7.5 million, irritable bowel, 1.4 million, many symptoms of constipation, irritable bowel, diarrhea. Many times can be because we're eating the wrong food and punching holes in our gut. And the main causes are the gluten, the protein in wheat. Wheat was genetically modified in 1948, hybridized at least by Dr. Berlow at the Rockefeller Institute in Mexico City, because they have 2 seasons there, and he increased the yield 10 times. Wheat used to be 10 feet tall. Now it's about this tall, but he never checked it in humans. It fed the world. I mean, the Chinese increased food production 10 times because of hybridized wheat, and not many people are aware of this, but they never checked it in humans. And I think that's the cause of this great obesity epidemic across the world. Mexico is more type 2 diabetic than us. Vietnam, it's rampant. South Korea, it's rampant. I doubt it's rampant in North Korea, because they don't eat. And Saudi Arabia, 90% pre-diabetic or diabetic. 90%. It's a plague across Europe. Gluten can do this. And dairy, remember I told you to read Whitewash by Keon. Make up your own mind. I don't drink milk anymore. It was irritating my gut. We don't have the enzyme to break down lactose. The protein, the casein in milk, is very carcinogenic. My friend, the pediatrician, Dr. Varula, calls milk liquid meat. So does Dr. Furman, the famous Eat to Live, famous book that he published. So in other causes, we have a huge toxic burden. They studied the blood of infants in the umbilicus and found they have about 200 chemicals in there that are toxic. Actually, it's more than that. They've studied adults now, too. We found we're carrying around probably 100 toxic chemicals that we picked up from the food that we ate, or exposure to the air or to the water that we ingest. Dr. Robert Lustig, in his famous book, Fat Chance, says humans in America are not fit to eat. We have so many toxins within us. It's right in his book. Read it. And let's go through about 8 myths that autoimmune disease cannot be reversed. That's wrong. That we always need medications. That's wrong. That the medications have minor side effects. That's wrong. That gluten thing is a myth. A lot of people still believe it. Believe me, I know a lot about gluten. I've given lectures on it, talks on it, many patients with it. They're undiagnosed, and when they stop gluten, they turn into these beautiful people. I've got a list of those. And that all people with autoimmune disease have poor quality of life. It's wrong. That only our genes matter. That's wrong. 25% is genetic. And that you can't be helped with your immunity. That's wrong. Even how you think affects your immunity. Yes, that's been scientifically proven down at IU, actually. So what causes autoimmunity? Leaky gut, we talked about that. We have 20 feet of intestine, okay? I think mainly because we were mainly vegetable eaters in the past. You know, people think the paleo diet, we were mainly meat eaters or a little bit of each. The lion's got 4 feet. He's a meat eater, okay? We humans, we have 20 feet, okay? It's different. So we can have a leaky gut. Our environment, our toxins we talked about. What you eat is critical, the most critical thing. To eat nutrient-dense foods is much better for your gut. Less likely to cause holes inside of your gut. The many side effects of medications they recommend for that. I recently spoke to my banker, a lady, a young person to boot, and she was gone for 3 months. She had a new hip operation. You know what happened? She had autoimmune disease, one that could have responded to a proper diet, and they gave her steroids. Yeah, they gave her steroids. Guess what? She developed aseptic necrosis of the hip. She had to have her hip replacement, which never would have been necessary if she hadn't had the steroids. That's one of the side effects of steroids, besides getting a pot belly and weight gain and eating too much and changing your skin and changing your eyes and greatly affecting your beauty. You want to take a beautiful person and turn them into not so beautiful person, take steroids. That works. Arthritic medications also have a lot of side effects. And I can go through, 100 side effects. We don't have time for all that. So autoimmunity really is that it attacks you're attacking your own body, auto self, okay? And that's you can have inflammatory disease, but if you have it again and again and more diseases, eventually the body gets sick and tired of this immune reaction and starts attacking your own body. Yeah, interesting. So your immunity is your protection. It's your Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines that protect your body, okay? And you need to support your immune system by avoiding toxins, proper nutrition, and what do drugs do? Drugs suppress all immunity, not just the one affecting the one disease you might have. It knocks out, it reduces the whole immune system. You see my problem with medications? Some people need them. Some are helpful. But if your child has acne, for example, first of all, cut out milk. If your child has a lot of ear infections, cut out milk. I recently, one of my yoga instructors that I work out with, her child was having these ear infections all the time and getting antibiotics, upsetting the bowel, getting diarrhea from that. We stopped the milk. Guess what? Everything totally cleared up within 2 weeks. Interesting. And we have barriers to protect us from the outside world. For example, we have skin, okay? And in the bowel, unfortunately, the bowel, the mucosa has one layer to it, one cell layer. And underneath there is our Army, Navy, and Air Force and Marines, our immune system, okay? And the little cilia, little hairs in your bowel that move things along. But you break through that with some gluten or milk or something your body doesn't want. You punch holes in your gut, and we're often running to develop an inflammatory disease. So the gut has some physical barrier, but it's not big. Okay, you know, in acute inflammation, we're talking about chronic inflammation, long-term. Acute inflammation, you know, you have a cut or a little infection, you get pain, some redness, some swelling, some heat. You're all familiar with that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about chronic, long-term inflammation. So we have an innate, in our body, innate immune system. It's the first line of defense. That's your Army, Navy, defense, okay? Then we have an adaptive immune system. And what's that? That's your antigen-antibody reaction. That's why you should, I personally think, should have your child or yourself immunized. First of all, we have, I think, a general obligation to the world. If you don't get your kids immunized, you're exposing other kids, frankly, because your kid gets it, going to give it to kids who aren't immunized. But that's another matter. So that's the adaptive immune system. You know, you get a measles shot, odds of getting measles, I mean, it's so low, it's unbelievable. And that's because we develop antibodies to the dead antigen, the dead virus or bacteria you take in to be immunized. And the main fighters, the main Army, Navy, Air Force are your T cells, which activate your B cells. Your B cells are the ones that protect your body. That's your security squad, your Marines, okay? You develop antibodies. Then you have the lymphocytes, which are part of the immune system. And then we have killer T cells, which attack any foreign invader very quickly. So these antibodies, which we have to protect us in our blood system, okay, we've developed, and some of us have more than others. For example, some family members of mine get colds all the time. I never get them. So my antibodies must be different, but also have very good health habits, okay? And some of these antibodies have some names to them. IgAs, they're in the mucosa of the gut. They're the largest. They're in the nose and the mouth and the esophagus in our gut and defend us. They work the most. Then we have the IgEs with the E, Ig with an E's. They protect us against allergies, like a peanut allergy can kill somebody like that. So we have antibodies that help protect against us, but some people don't have them. And they get exposed to a little bit of peanut, and man, they can't breathe, and the death rates associated with that. Then we have IgGs, which are immune reaction that doesn't start up for about 72 hours. So sometimes you may eat something, breathe something, or a toxin comes at you, and you have no reaction. It occurs 72 hours later. Maybe a rash or something shows up. So we don't know really what did it, because it's occurring 72 hours, 48 hours later. But it keeps on happening, keeps on happening. You eventually figure out that you do have a delayed allergic reaction to something you ate or smelled, or maybe smoke in the house or whatever. You don't really know what we do it. So we have a defensive system, you know, in our gut, in our mouth, our tongue, our esophagus, our stomach, throughout the whole intestine, and further as the antigen gets through a hole in the gut into the blood system uses antibodies, the Army, Navy, to protect you. If you have chronic inflammation, remember that last reaction, IgG, the 72-hour, 48-hour reaction, how can it present over long term? Osteoporosis, joint pains, vascular disease, digestive problems, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, irritable bowel, emotional problems, depression, hormonal changes, thyroiditis, for example, Graves' disease, Hashimoto's disease, obesity, respiratory problems, skin, asthma. Zillions of things can happen, and they can be missed. But if you have many of these, you should get suspicious and say, you know, could I try to follow this regimen, for example, recommended in this Autoimmune Solution by Amy Meyer's book, or what I would recommend, and see if I can get rid of all these symptoms by eating right, avoiding toxins, exercising, getting rid of infections. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. You might be surprised. So help your gut. Let's try to help your gut. First step, remember I said 80% of these autoimmune problems are due to holes in your gut. So what you eat, pay attention to what you eat. You want to eat nutrient-dense food. What did I say? Gluten and milk punch holes in the gut. And that's the first thing you might want to phase out of your life. And how much sleep you get, because your brain affects your immunity. Your brain speaks through neurotransmitters, through hormones, through neuropeptides, speaks to your lymphatic system. Candace Pert wrote a book called Molecules of Emotion, published in 1972. I give lectures on that there on YouTube. You can get into that connection there. And so how you think affects the stress level. The more stress you have, the more likely you're going to have irritable bowel, for example. How you sleep is important. Your exposure to toxins is important. So stress control is important. So the gut is a gateway to your health. Yeah. So what's going on in your mouth, esophagus, and stomach, and what you're eating, what's going on? How many, do you have infections going on? Do you have Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis? If you have these illnesses, many times you go to a GI doctor, and the first thing you want to do is scope you, and really don't talk about. You ought to take an hour and take you apart and find out what's going on in your life since birth, and maybe even before, to see how much exposure that you've had through toxic substances that have been exposed to your gut. Is there any genetic component to it, for example? Those things, they must take a long history. It's not just to the office, to the scope. They got to know what's going on in your life, and you must participate in that. And I hope they have a long form for you to fill out to know your history. Those forms, incidentally, in this Amy Meyer's book, so that we can get some idea of what's going on with you. And so there are many signs of poor gut health, and we can go through 50 different symptoms. So your gut is 20 feet long. We mentioned that already. But the surface area is the size of a tennis court. Well, I know that size pretty good, being a tennis player. And the microvilli, those are the little outpouchings we told you in the mucosa. They're very small. There's millions of them in your gut. But they attach to the next villi, the next cell, and that gate is protected by something called zonulin, Z-O-N-U-L-I-N. But when you eat a lot of gluten, that causes secretion of a lot of zonulin, and that zonulin, Z-O-N-U-L-I-N, punches the hole in the gut. That separates the cells, and that's where the leakage occurs. And the leaky gut use many times have increased osteoporosis, depression, anxiety, brain fog, GI bloating, constipation, irregular hormones, irregular periods, infertility. You ought to try, if you're infertile, give this a shot for a month or two of getting rid of milk and glutens and watching the toxins, and see if you can detoxify your body, see if you can't get pregnant. And we already mentioned acne, rosacea, for example. So what causes leaky gut? We already mentioned the milk and the gluten. Sugar does it. So if you're a big-time sugar eater, eating sugary products, white bread all the time, or taking a lot of sugary products, that can do it. alcohol, dairy, eggs, yes, gluten, GMOs, genetically modified foods. They've not been tested in humans. Yet when humans eat them, and they punch holes in our gut because our body doesn't recognize them. They didn't come through evolution. So they're new. Our body's not used to them. You're taking in a food that is incompatible with your genetic structure, and they can punch a hole in your gut. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. A field called epigenetics. The epigenetics. Beans, unfortunately, can do this too. It's a lectin in beans. Your body is not used to the lectins in beans because they've been changed too. They're fairly new in evolution, and then can punch holes in your gut. Yeah, if you have a problem, and sugar, and the nightshades, tomatoes and peppers, the nightshades, they can do it too. But if you have no problem, for Pete's sake, don't stop them. Okay. Also, a lot of if you have taken antibiotics a lot for chronic infectious diseases, they change the bacteria in your gut, and that can lead to gut inflammation. And gut inflammation leads to what? Autoimmune disease. Okay? All right? Now, what are medications that do it? Antacids, antibiotics, birth control pills, yes, NSAIDs can do it. Advil, those kind of drugs can do it. Steroids, I already mentioned, prednisone can do it. Radiation can punch holes in your gut. People radiated for cancer can develop an autoimmune disease. Absolutely, I've seen it. Multiple surgeries can do it. Dr. Fasano, F-A-S-N-O at Harvard, said to have a leaky gut, if you have a leaky gut, you must have a leaky gut to have an autoimmune disease. Okay? So what am I saying? This is preventable, stoppable, reversible. If you get this illness, ask your provider to put you through this. I'll read this book and try it on your own the best you can, but don't change medicine unless you spoke to him, okay? And so we have friendly bacteria in our gut, and that's what you want, and that's the reason sometimes we recommend that you take supplements to change and improve the bacteria in your gut. You've been taking a lot of antibiotics, you've had radiation, there are going to be different bacteria living in your gut. Also, the gluten, for example, can affect your mind, cause depression, and addiction because they have in them called gluteomorphines. They're like morphine compounds. Milk has it too, called casomorphines. Yeah, some people are addicted to milk. Absolutely. I know somebody that was. And believe me, did they ever gain weight? Yeah, you can be addicted to milk, you can be addicted to bread. Not just the gluten. Sugar can addict you too, of course. Sugar is more addictive than cocaine. I did a show on that recently. Yeah. If your child has frequent ear infections, think of dairy. You may have a dairy sensitivity. So there's a gut-brain connection. Gerson wrote a book called The Second Brain. Yeah, read it. Interesting reading. I read that, and it has a lot to do about the lymphatic system in the gut, how it affects how a leaky gut and ear infections can affect the way you think, cause depression, sleepiness, inability to think, memory loss. Very interesting. And gut makes 95% of your serotonin, 80 to 95%. So it's very important how you treat it. Some people have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth from taking antibiotics, eating the wrong food, too much sugar, for example. Acne, I mentioned before, can be a dairy sensitivity. I had a lot of it as a child, a teenager in high school. You can imagine how that bothered me. No one ever said, stop drinking milk. I drank a lot of it. And other things can cause it too, but I had a big time problem with it. So acid reflux, people say it's from too much acid. No, it's from not enough acid. It's well described in Amy Meyer's book. Conventional medicine treats it as it's too much acid. It's not enough acid. What it is due to its lack of friendly bacteria. So if acid reflux, they should work on whether you're overweight or not, eat the proper food, if you eat too many sugars, if you have unfriendly bacteria. There's a gut solution to it that certainly should be tried first before they, for example, want to give you medication or operate you for acid reflux. This is a very common entity, and the most common cause is lack of friendly bacteria. Yeah, and so this is a very interesting. And so stomach acid is your friend. So when you have surgery, for example, on your stomach, if you're having a weight problem and you want to lose weight, for example, they're eliminating a lot of your stomach. A lot of your acids will be gone. Can that be a problem 20 years down the line? Well, it could be. Who knows for sure. Acids break down the proteins and provides amino acids for your health. So also it helps absorb vitamins in your stomach. So the health, remember, recently discovered that ulcers can be caused by bacteria in the stomach from improper acids, for example. So proper digestion and absorption is critical. Gut health is important. So what are the 4 R's of steps of gut healing? According to myself, and also Amy Myers in her book describes it very well. Remove the bad, the gluten, the grain, the dairy, sugars, nightshades, and it can be others. And then restored, proper eating. Maybe you need to take a supplement so that you get the proper bacteria in your gut, and re-inoculate your and probiotics. What you hear a lot about today, to get a friendly gut, for example. Some you could get, for example, from yogurt, but they also, have a pill you can take, for example, or liquid you can swallow to restore gut health, and you can talk to your physician or gastroenterologist about that. So, in essence, you are what you eat. You always hear that, but actually, you are what you digest and absorb. Okay, taking a step further, kind of interesting. Also, there are supplements that work. Glutamine. Glutamine it comes from the liver. And glutathione in the liver is the detoxifiers of your liver. So to take them as supplements, some glutamine, glutathione is quite important. And then some omega-3, fish oil, for example, nuts have omega-3, fish have them. Also, it will reduce the inflammation in your gut. So I can give you a huge list of supplements and proper foods, and we don't have time for all that, but we mentioned some here this time. So get rid of the gluten, the grains, and also beans because of the lectin. Okay, there's no gluten found in rice, millet, corn, quinoa unless they've been contaminated. Oats they think are cross-contaminated if you get a gluten thing. And read a book on gluten. Read another book on gluten. And it's described some in here, or look at on YouTube. I have a 1-hour talk on gluten diseases. I think this is underdiagnosed. We're not running gluten tests on people, and it's a big mistake. I catch people, I call 3 of them where I work out at Planet Fitness. I have 3 people talk to me about their health, and I had them do gluten testing. Guess what? It restored their health. And some were stories I don't have time to tell. I mean, 30-pound weight loss and didn't need to have her uterus removed. An unbelievable story. Gluten was never tested, and she was going to a rheumatologist. Gluten is not tested enough in this community, period. I'll stand behind it. And remember I mentioned beans, unfortunately. I love and recommend beans of the nutrient we're eating. But if you have an autoimmune disease, you may need to cut out beans for a while. And you see, give it a month, and then reintroduce them. For example, the lectin in legumes, beans, bind the carbohydrate to the proteins, so 90%, 99% of gluten diseases are undiagnosed, because some of the same illnesses here, from seizures to dementia to gut problems to skin diseases, arthritis, especially swollen joints. Gluten can do that. Or you got rheumatoid arthritis, when in reality they've got a gluten problem. How sad if no one figures that out. All these people need tests run on gluten. And maybe 1 out of 133 have celiac disease. That's the main gluten disease. They're easy to diagnose, but 7 times as many have gluten sensitivity, and they go largely undiagnosed. 30% of Europeans can't tolerate gluten, so they run the tests more often. In this country, they don't run the test enough. In Australia, they check 70% of the people. In Italy, 70% of the people. Here, we checked 5% of the people. You may even need to send it into the Cyrex Corporation, C-Y-R-E-X, who run a very extensive test on the gluten, because there are many subtypes to gluten allergies. This takes a real expert to figure it out. Check it on the internet. Check it also on the, and read a book about it. Isn't it strange, the last 20 years we've had a 400% increase in celiac disease, the main gluten disease. That's because the gluten has been genetically hybridized and changed. And so let's speak about molecular mimicry. And what happens after a while, if you have that IgG problem, this autoimmunity, after a while the body gets insulted by antigens so much that the antibodies of the body get confused, and they start reacting to things that aren't exactly what they're reacting to. You know, you get a antibody for gluten, but it's reacting to something related to it. That's mimicry, okay? And then you start having autoimmune diseases all over the place, and it does happen. It's confused by the antigen. That's called gluten molecular mimicry. Mimicking the thing. So we are exposed a lot to industrial toxins. They're checking this now in humans. Like soy has been genetically changed. The original soy was quite healthy, but we changed it so much now that our body is not used to it. It's a foreign gene structure entering our body, and we can react to it. I mean, it's very interesting. And we spoke about that eggs are on the list too, but you know, check it. I mean, they have good proteins in them, and I think if you're following a nutrient-dense diet, you get type 2 diabetes, you're trying to get rid of it. Protein is, from milk, you know, I think it's a good thing. But if you get autoimmune diseases too, you may need to be a little bit careful about eggs. I may check them to see if it gives you diarrhea or upset bowel an hour or two later. It's the lysosome, L-Y-S-O-M-E, in eggs that acts like lectin, and can cause a reaction. So tame the toxins and that you take in the best that you can. Maybe use filtered water. Some people even have a system of controlling the air in their house. Some of the things you're breathing in, toxins, if you live around a factory, for example, can be in the air, in the water. Heavy metals you might be exposed to that could be in the water. There have been multiple studies, and I think the last study showed that we breathe in and exposed to about at least 280 chemicals. It's probably a lot more than that when they find 200 of them in the umbilicus of a child. And we adults, of course, have the same thing. Remember Dr. Lustig said, we're not fit to eat. And so clean the air, clean your water, buy clean foods. It's important to check the foods. For example, believe it or not, I got a woodchuck living on my house. I killed any animal. My wife wants to get rid of it, and I said, I'm not going to do it. I've been there 5 years. So I gave him an apple the other day, and he won't eat it. He's a vegetarian. He won't eat it. So I started reading more about apples. They pick apples in California when they're green. So they don't get the phytochemicals that are healthy in them. They inject them with nitrogen to make it taste like an apple. And they put a chemical made in New Jersey Turnpike there, these coloring chemicals, and they to make it colorful, and then you eat it. So I give it to the woodchuck, and he won't eat it. And he's a vegetarian. And he's hungry. So I know darn well he smells the chemicals. I've tried it a number of times. I find an organic apple, eats it right away. It's gone the next morning. Interesting. Isn't that interesting? We're taking in a lot of chemicals applied by the industry. Yeah. You won't believe it, but the government supports the price of sugar. Yeah. It's not believable when it causes 80% of our illnesses. Type 2 diabetes causes 80% of our illnesses. The government supports the price of sugar. It's not believable. So glutathione is in the liver. That's the detoxifier, okay? That's the detoxifier. That cleanses our body. Most metabolism occurs in the liver. So you take in a foreign substance, it goes to the liver, and the glutathione is what detoxes it. Now, some glutathione you take as a supplement, but you can also get it from garlic, onions. Onions are very healthy. If a woman were to eat one slice of raw onion with a cooked mushroom, that would reduce breast cancer 50%. It's right in multiple books, especially Dr. Furman's books. Did that tell you something? That tells you something. Cruciferous vegetables, which are the vegetables you see the bottom of my food pyramid. That's, for example, at Trine University in that cafeteria. It's also at Species, for example, my food pyramid. That is cruciferous vegetables, cabbage, for example, broccoli, for example, kale, cauliflower. So that's a good antitoxic glutathione, okay? Some people take it as a supplement, okay? And stress can cause a great deal of these autoimmune diseases, and when you think about it, it makes perfect sense, because if something is running at you, you're stressful, the adrenaline goes up, your blood sugar goes up because you're trying to defend yourself against the enemy, and the steroids go up and cause you to eat more because you think the tiger's running at you, become obese, and you're more likely to have an autoimmune disease if you're overweight because it affects the metabolism in your gut. And the microbes in your gut can cause diseases too. I won't name all of them, but you can find them in this book, and they can cause Guillain-Barré, where you get paralyzed arms and legs, multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, where your body just curls up and the spine freezes, Graves' disease, Hashimoto's disease, all illnesses caused by bacteria in your gut. So if you have a lot of gut problems that need to be cultured and grown out to see if you can get rid of this bacteria, probiotics, of course, would be very helpful. So how you think is important, because how you think through hormones, neuropeptides, neurotransmitters affects your Army, Navy, and Air Force, your lymphatic system. Candace Pert published that book, Molecules of Emotion. Very good book to read. So how you think affects your immunity greatly. A very stressed out person can develop all sorts of bowel problems. I get stressed, my bowel gets irritated, no doubt about it. When I was in med school, I used to change my heart through the sympathetic nervous system. I go, lub, and about 30 seconds later I had the next beat. But now it appears it's more my bowel. It can change, okay? You know, we're reading in the paper a lot about fatigue syndrome. They finally proved it's a real syndrome. Of course, that's directly related to this. People are stressed out all the time. They lose their energy. They lose their energy. So why don't zebras get ulcers? They don't get ulcers because when the tiger is chasing them, they either live or die, and the stress is over. For any of the chronic things that might affect them, there, for example, reactions between the animals and the weather and whether food's available or not, they don't get stressed about it. Okay, they don't have chronic stress. We have chronic stress, and chronic stress is what's killing us. Acute stress, we don't have as much. But chronic long-term stress, we have every day. Okay, so so what are the basic principles here? Food is medicine. Okay, food is medicine. This is critical. So what you eat is number one. Okay, exposure to environment. Number two, stresses. Number three, then what we breathe in, what we drink can all affect our bowel health. And our medications we're taking. If you're on 15 medicines and you don't have a problem with your bowel, I would be amazed. I see 85-year-old people these days, they're on 15 medications. Give me a break. What do you think their bowel looks like? Probably a lot of the illnesses they got are due to the medication. Take only the medicine you absolutely need to take and know the side effects, know the interactions. Maybe talk to your physician to begin with, talk to your pharmacist, and look on the internet. And if you have an elderly person, a child, I always love it when the patient came in with a yellow pad and a pencil. And they wrote everything down and they double-checked everything I said. I loved it. Some people would be insulted by that. I loved it because I know that was very helpful to the patient, and it resulted in better medical care, medical care. So the foods you need to toss out. I mean, have a glass of wine now and then. I don't recommend drinking, but if you do, 2 or 3 glasses of wine a week, probably won't hurt you. You drink one every day, you wonder what that's leading to, okay? Foods to toss. So alcohol can put holes in your gut. Fast food, food additives, artificial flavors, colorings, GMO, genetically modified foods, which is what we're largely eating. Read the labels. If it's got a label, it probably is a processed food. It's not organic. It's been stripped of its membrane, so read the labels. Very important. And know the 50 different names for sugar. Sugar is what causes obesity. It's not the fat. There's some bad fats. Some animals that are not organically raised, full of omega-6, the bad fats. But sugar is the main cause of obesity and type 2 diabetes. We need a certain amount of sugar, but you got to know sugar. The table sugar is 50% glucose, 50% fructose. Yeah, that's what goes to the liver, causes fatty liver, inflames your body. It's the sugar that's making us fat and causes heart attacks and strokes. It's not the fat. It's finally coming out. There's a great book called The Big Fat Surprise by Nina Highholz, this thick. I gave it to a cardiologist to read 9 months ago. He still hadn't read it. This is a great book. It really goes through how we have been misled by our government agencies, American Heart Association, Ansel Keys, McGovern Commission, telling us fat is the cause of most illness. It's not fat. It's sugar. It's sugar. Listen to our shows. Look at my internet lectures. Read my books. It's all in there. Read Robert Lustig's book, Big Fat Chance, Richard Johnson's Sugar Fix. I can name you 10 other books to read. It's all there. It's all based in the literature. Exercise regularly, I think, is important. And I'm not saying a huge thing. Walk a half a mile a day, half hour a day. It could be a half a mile, depends how you walk. Lift some light weights to build up your muscles because exercise not only improves your general health, but also builds your brain, builds brain cells. We, through neuroplasticity, can build brain cells. Yeah, it's actually true. And I give courses, I'll give lectures on memory, which I'm doing more and more. We need to exercise not just your body, but also need to exercise our brain. And so in summary, you need to participate in your health care. I think that's critical. You need to participate in your health care. You need to maybe do some reading. You please follow us on cashmanhealth.com, the internet site. If you have pre-diabetes or diabetes, come to us. We can 90% of the time. I can prevent it, stop it, reverse it. I give a lecture once a month at Lutheran Hospital, free. We have nice audiences. I think it's a problem in this nation that many people are diagnosed. There are 5 stages to type 2 diabetes. Most people are diagnosed at stage 4. Stage 5 is blindness, amputation, dialysis, and death, not too far away. We need to diagnose people stage 1, 2, and 3 by running serum insulin levels and 2-hour glucose tolerance test. Today, in most offices, that is not done. I think it's a major error, and the whole nation is involved with this illness. I can prevent it, stop it, reverse it. Join us. Join us in doing this. And we spoke about the autoimmune diseases today. Most of these are preventable. Give us a chance. Don't just take the pill to the ill. Give yourself a month or two. You see, if you can't get rid of these illnesses through proper nutrition, exercise, avoiding the toxins, and you can get well a lot of times without medications. These medications have side effects, but don't change them. Don't change the medications without speaking to your provider, because you absolutely may need them. And I'm not anti-medicine, but I'm for an attempt at wellness in the beginning. And generally what we recommend to you is a nutrient-dense way of eating, foods of color. It's the vitamins, the minerals, and the 25,000 plant chemicals, phytochemicals, who fought the war against funguses, bacteria, and viruses. And when you take them in the body, they fight the war for you and make you well. And then learn a little bit about fats. Remember I said fat is, omega-6s are pro-inflammatory if you're eating the way some of the chickens and pigs and beef is raised today in non-organic manner. They have a lot of omega-6s in them, but I didn't say don't eat animal products. I said 20%, it's okay, but know what the healthy ones are. And you live to be 100. You have a good memory, you'll be very healthy, and follow us in other lectures and look at cashmanhealth.com, read the books on Amazon books. I've got about 17 books on there, and attend our live lectures. Especially, I give two a month, and the one on diabetes, stopping preventive diabetes, is on the 30th, and we have a little entertainment there, even for 10 minutes. I had a violin with me. I did a little spoken word on the diabetes lecture, and thank you very much for listening to me. Follow us, join us, send me a book. I'll meet you at Starbucks. I will definitely read it, discuss it with you in an open manner. And we love you all. And love is action. It's action. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak to you on public access TV, which I also love, for them allowing us to do this, because it's helped a lot of people. A lot of them have spoken to me, and we have to thank them very much for doing this.